Welcome to the Rustic Garden. This is one of a continuing video series on my collapsible greenhouse. This is a 4 foot by 8 foot, 3 foot high greenhouse that I'm going to try and grow greens for salads through the entire winter here in Maryland Zone 7. Last night was the first time the temperature got below 32 degrees pretty significantly. The greenhouse, this little greenhouse, stayed at about 38 degrees. I have a little electronic thermometer in there taped to the end of the yardstick, so it sends up the temperatures up to a device by my computer, so I can tell exactly what the low temperature was for the night. This greenhouse stayed at 38 degrees. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the heating elements, but first let me just show you this. You can see, first of all the plants did fine. These are all frost tolerant plants, which means they can take a frost, even sort of a heavy frost, and the leaves stay okay. They don't burst or they don't get disrupted. Last night, like I said, it got below 32 degrees. Here's the trays that set out. They had rainwater in it, and you can see even as of 11:30 today, there's lots of ice in the tray. So it got pretty cold last night, but the greenhouse managed to stay above 32 degrees. It was nearly, I think it was like 37 or 38 degrees. But that's my goal, is just to have enough heating element in this collapsible greenhouse to keep the temperatures over 32 degrees. Today is Sunday, November 9th, and you can see the right side of the greenhouse has a lot of condensation on it. I also want to talk about how do you manage the heat that builds up in the greenhouse during the day, as well as the cold. I was just talking to you about how the frost came and formed ice out here 2 days ago. It's, like I said, Sunday. It's about 11:30. I'm here in Maryland Zone 7. The temperature is about 55 degrees, but the inside of this greenhouse was already up to 85 degrees. It's really easy for a sealed greenhouse like this to get up to 80, 90, 100 degrees, or add 30, 40, even 50 degrees of temperature above what the outdoor temperature is. So anytime you have a day like today where it's full sun, the sun is going right into the greenhouse, you have to make sure that you unzip it. And you want to unzip it for, one, to manage the heat. Two, it also will help the plastic dry out inside. This way you won't really get algae buildup inside. But the best way to know about the temperature, and besides guessing really, is to purchase a system like I have in here. This is a monitor that's not on right now. I have an active one upstairs, and this is the wireless sensor. And basically this sensor just sits in here the whole time. It keeps track of the lowest temperature, the highest temperature, and the current temperature. And I have this upstairs right by my computer, and it reads out 3 numbers right here and my indoor temperature. And this is how I know really when to come out here and unzip it and make sure, you know, the temperature is where I want it to be. Now, for managing the cold at night, I talked to you about having the aquarium heater in there. I have a 25 watt aquarium heater in this 5 gallons of water. One thing I want to say that's really important, that if you're using electricity, make sure you use an outdoor extension cord. And when I have this zipped up, I typically have the extension cord up here so that the 2 cords meet well above the water. When I unzip it during the day, I usually sit it like right here. And the reason for that is you want to make sure your cord doesn't drop down low somewhere where water can pool around it and, you know, possibly cause a short circuit, or hopefully not even something not like getting shocked or anything dangerous like that. But always keep in mind where your 2 cords are joining. You want them to stay above the water level. So what I'm doing, the goal here is to keep this temperature just above 32 degrees. I have a submersible aquarium heater here set on high, and it's just sitting. You can see some of the steam coming off of there from the heat. It's just sitting in that bucket, and at night when I zip this up, my hope is that this helps keep this greenhouse, this, you know, small space, just above 32 degrees. You can see everything is growing really well. The radishes in there are getting close to being picked. The lettuces are much larger, and everything is really doing nicely. But you do have to keep in mind, you're managing the cold at night. You want to keep it above freezing if you can. These are cold weather crops. They can take a little bit of frost. But you also have to make sure, probably more importantly, is that you don't keep this shut and let the heat build up inside to 90, 100 degrees, because your cool weather plants won't like it. They'll actually go into a mode to produce flowers and bolts. Sometimes they can even come more bitter, and if it gets too hot, you're going to damage the leaves. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please check out my blog at www.therustedgarden.blogspot.com, and also check out my YouTube videos. Thanks.